What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and here we are again with another character breakdown. And as you can see in the background, this time is for that boy, Adam Warlock, baby. So let's get right into this. And again, we're talking about Adam Warlock. He is a strategist. His role on the team is going to be a healer / support. He has a base health pool of 250 with a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, Adam Warlock is a strategist type hero who takes on a healing role. He is able to both heal and revive enemies, making him one of the teammates you'd love to have on your team. Even more so if you pair him up with Star-Lord or Mantis, baby. Now, when it comes to Adam Warlock, to me, he is definitely not a solo healer, okay? So when you're playing Adam Warlock, make sure that you have another healer alongside you, probably primarily Mantis, just because of the team up ability that they get, which we will get into later in the video. Other than that, Adam Warlock is a very, he is definitely a secondary healer. I'm gonna put it that way. His main attack is all right. It's nothing too special there, but he is a guy that will basically allow the team to stay healthy. And if you do have him and Mantis, he is on the team, and it will allow you guys to basically keep people in the fight longer. And even if you die, he does allow them to kind of get right back into the fight by just reviving them there on the spot. So he is a good healer in that regard, but just remember, he definitely is not a solo healer. Definitely not a solo hero, okay? But let's get into his normal attack, which is called Quantum Magic. And with this, you launch quantum energy to deal damage. This is a single cast direct hit. It does 55 damage per round. The fall off begins at 20 meters, and it decreases to 50% at 40 meters. The fire rate is going to be 2 rounds per second. The ammo count is 15, and there is a critical hit on this. Now, as you can see, when you're using his normal attack, it's going to take you about 5 shots to kill your 275 heroes. So your 275, 300 heroes, you're going to need about 5 good shots in order to kill them. The fire rate, in my opinion, it's all right. It seems a little bit slow, especially when you're actually in the middle of things, because like I said, you're going to be a secondary healer, and you're not really going to be trying to be in the fight that much. So with the damage fall off, he can seem pretty weak on the damage side. So you got to try to figure out a way to make sure that you stay close enough to get most damage while also being back enough to where you can remain in the back line and remain a healer, man. So now let's get into his first ability, which is actually going to be a passive ability, and this is going to be called the regenerative cocoon. And with this, once his body perishes, Adam Warlock can freely move as a soul and reforge his body as a chosen spot. This has a cooldown of 105 seconds, man. And just like it states there, man, basically when you die, you will go into your soul form, or like an astral form. You can travel for a certain amount of distance. Now with this, you need to go ahead and make sure you find a spot and hit the revive, because if you don't, you will actually revive back at the initial revive point. Now also be aware that when you are in this state, they can actually see your astral form, so you're not invisible to them while this is going on. So just be aware of that before you just pop your revive in the middle of the open. Now let's get into his first actual ability, which is going to be called Cosmic Cluster. And with this, you gather quantum energy into a cluster and then swiftly launch it at the enemy. This is a charged release with multiple delayed projectiles. The damage is going to be 38. The maximum projectile count is 5. The firing interval for a single charge shot is about 0.3 seconds, while the interval for multiple shots is 0.7 seconds. The projectile speed is going to be 100 meters a second, and the Cosmic Cluster shares the ammo with the Quantum Magic, man. Now, as you can see, when you use this ability here, you will just charge up your staff, and basically you will shoot out a burst of what is essentially your normal attack. So with this right here, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like this is a waste of an ability. I feel like this right here needs to be changed. If you want to allow him to charge up his normal attack, just go ahead and let him have this charge up on his normal attack, and then give him an actual ability. to help him be a little bit better. So this move right here, in my opinion, is very, very useful. I mean, me personally, when I was playing Adam, I primarily only attacked with the charged up clusters just because it puts out a lot more damage faster than when you're shooting it one at a time. So I don't understand why if you want to allow him to have this charged up shot, they should just put this on his actual normal attack and just let you charge it. And this ability here should be some type of movement because he has 0 movement abilities. So this right here should be some type of movement. We know he can fly, so at least give him like some type of leap or something so he can get up to second floors. But let's move on to the next ability, and that's going to be called Avatar Life Stream. And with this, you target an ally for a bouncing stream of healing energy, which also heals himself upon casting. Self-targets if no ally is selected, right? This is a targeted cast. The bouncing target does not include yourself. The healing amount is going to be 95. The self-healing is only going to be 35. It can bounce between 2 people. The range of this is going to be at 20 meters in a spherical radius. And the duration is you get 2 charges, with each charge taking 6 seconds to recharge, man. Now with this is actually going to be your main ability. And what you're going to see here is you will go ahead and hit this. And when you hit it, it will heal multiple people at one time. But the heal amount itself is not really that much. So you got to make sure that you're doing this pretty often. Due to the fact that you do have the 2 charges, you want to make sure pretty much anytime you have a charge, if anybody on the team is somewhat weak, you're going to want to just go ahead and continually pop this. Now, you don't get much of a self-heal, and the 95 heal that the teammates get is kind of weak. So you want to make sure you're doing this consistently, okay? You want to make sure you're consistently using this for your team as much as possible so you can get in as much healing as possible. Now, we're going to go to the next ability he has, which is going to be called Soul Bond. And for this, you're going to forge a soul bond with your allies, granting healing over time, and distributing damage taken across the bond. Now, this is an instant cast, and for this, Adam Warlock will share a portion of the damage sustained by the linked allies. If Adam Warlock sustains damage that would KO him due to the link, then the link will be broken, and he will retain 1 health. The link will also break once enough damage is sustained if Adam Warlock or the linked ally leaves the linked range, or after a certain length of time has passed. The healing amount is going to be 10 per second. The range is 15 meters. And the cooldown is going to be 6 seconds, man. Now with this, as you can see, when you pop it, you will go ahead and link yourself with teammates. And as you can see, when they take damage, you will take damage, but you will also heal them over time. Now, personally, with this being his other heal ability, as I was playing him, I noticed that, yes, this does give you a heal, an initial heal, and it does heal over time, but the problem is the damage that you take while you're using this, because most of the time the damage that you take will be much more than this actually gives you back in health. So again, the soul bond is cool to have because it does give some healing, and it will help mitigate some damage away from certain characters like your tanks or frontline DPSs. But you also have to remember that at the same time, if they are getting killed, most likely you're going to be at 1 health as well. So this can actually be a detriment to you just as much as it can be helpful, man. So just make sure you are taking out the time here to go ahead and make sure that you are popping this and using this in the correct time frames, man. Now, the last ability we're actually going to go over here is going to be called his ult, and that's going to be his Karmic Revival. And with that, you're going to awaken the karma of allies to revive them. Allies revived have the lower health, but enjoy a brief period of invincibility. Now with this is a persistent spell field that surrounds the caster. You revive all allies within range centered on Adam. Continuously monitor fallen enemies within this range. If they enter this area, they can be revived at the casting location. Health upon revival is going to be 100. The range is 30 meters in a spherical radius. The cooldown duration is 10 seconds. And the energy cost is going to be 5,000. So as you can see, when you pop this, you will instantly go ahead and revive teammates. And if they can, they will come back into the circle. As you can see, my teammates were revived right there and came back instantly. So, and as long as they're in this, they will continue to come back to revive. Now, his ult, in my opinion, is very good in the right situations. If all your team dies and you happen to need them back, this could be a very, very clutch ult, bringing them back. Also, you must be aware that when you pop this, you will be very vulnerable in the initial animation, because you get no defensive bonuses and no bonus health. So you want to make sure that you're not out in the open when you start this ult. And you also want to make sure that when you bring back your teammates, you're not bringing them back in a bad situation just to get right back killed and sent back to the respawn again, man. So the last thing we need to go over with Adam Warlock is going to be his team ups, and he does have one, this being with both Star-Lord and Mantis. And with this team up is going to be called Soul Preservance. And with this, Adam Warlock enhances the rebirth power of Star-Lord and Mantis, granting them the power of Cocooned Revival, man. And also, Adam Warlock himself has a 15% healing bonus for the seasonal boost. Now with this right here, this ability allows Star-Lord or Mantis, if you are on the team with Adam Warlock, when you die, you will acquire his astral form, and you can move around the map and go ahead and revive yourself right there on the battlefield. But again, be aware that when you're in astral form, the enemy can see you, and when you start reviving, you are a little bit vulnerable, so make sure you're reviving in an actual safe space, man. Now, overall, when it comes to Adam Warlock, he is a very secondary healer. Now, he is a good one to have, as his respawns will help the team out a lot, and it will help certain healers. Like if he has Mantis with him, you'll have two healers that can essentially respawn on the spot, keeping the healers as in the fight as often and as quickly as possible. But at the same time, I feel as though his healing abilities, like the one that makes him take damage over time, is just as much of a detriment to him as it is helpful to the teammate. And also, his one ability where you charge up his normal attack, that should just be his normal attack. They should swap that and give him either a movement ability or some type of damaging ability towards the enemies, either or, whichever one. But let's not rob Adam of this ability, so-called ability, when this should just be on his normal attack. But if you are checking out healers, this is a good secondary healer to have, so make sure that you're just not having him as a solo healer, man. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoy that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at that boy ETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.